Hey guys, welcome back to God Speaks Verse of the Day. So let me just give you, guys, a quick update before I do this. So we had another coworker that passed away, and he was a very, very, very dear friend of mine. He was actually my relief, like 2 or 3 days throughout the week. His name was Steve, and I actually had mentioned him before, asking for prayer because he was in bad health. He was in bad health. He had fell one day at work and stuff like that, and then his health just slowly declined. Well, I know that he fell asleep one night at home and he didn't wake up. He died in his sleep. So I went to the funeral, and then a few days after, his family actually came to our church. So, been dealing with that. John got sick before we was gonna do the one we was gonna do together. So, and then on top of that, I've just been really stressed because of my finances, because I've never had more bills at one time than I've had with this. But through that, and this right here is a huge reflection on how I'm dealing with it now. So I was stressed out for a few days. I allowed it to stress me out. I was possibly stressed out for more than a few days, but God's teaching me to allow Him to have control. He's teaching me to just let go. He's teaching me to just trust in Him and concentrate on Christ and not look at, because it's like the picture. It's like the story of Peter when he walked out on the water, when he started looking at everything else, is when he started to sink. And so obviously God don't want us to sink. So if we keep our eyes on Christ and don't look at everything else, then God will take care of us, and He'll direct us, or He'll supply us, however He wants to do it, however He wants to get us through the situations that we go through. But yeah, there's a lot on me right now, all in one, and it's never been more than it is now. So with that said, this is Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 through 13. And I know a lot of you are going to know exactly where I'm going, exactly what I'm about to read here. This is Paul when he was still in prison, and he was writing a letter to the Philippians. And it says, chapter 4, verse 11 says, not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, there is one message, obviously, as you read this, because Paul, he'd been rich and he'd been poor. He'd had plenty and he'd barely had any. But yet, through Christ, he found strength and he found everything that he needed. But the message and the vision that God gave me through this is, it doesn't matter what we're going through. It doesn't matter what we have or what we don't. What matters most is that we have Christ. And we should consider ourselves rich because we have Christ. Because when you have Christ, think about it like this. That when you have a relationship with Jesus, when you've given your life to Jesus and you become a follower of Christ, you become a follower of heaven. And just by what the scriptures say is in heaven is mind-blowing. There's all sorts of stones up there. Not roads of gold, but excuse me, streets of gold. That's what I was trying to say last time in that last where I said roads of gold. Streets of gold. There's crystal lakes and rivers. Probably there's no probably to it. The most wonderful food you will ever taste, like ever. And then there's there's castles. There's mansions. There's no telling what is truly in heaven. But the Bible does say that we are heirs to God and joint heirs with Jesus Christ. So we have a kingdom, and it's not here. It's up there. Our home is not here. It's up there. So the fact that we have Christ here on earth means that we have everything. That there's nothing else we need, and there's nothing else that we should want. I'm not saying that's wrong, because there's sometimes that even I want things. Like there's things that I'm looking at right now that I can't have, but I would love to have. Which I'm not going to get into that because it's not important. But the vision that God gave me through these scriptures, besides what was already spoken, that Paul spoke to the Philippians, is that it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter how bad your circumstances are. It doesn't matter what you have and what you don't. What matters is that you have Christ. And when you have Christ, you have everything. I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless you guys. It's great to be back. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for continuing to trust in me to come back with yet another message. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. So God bless.